G'day everyone, Prep Aussie here. I hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is Monday, the 21st of July, and the time here, excuse me, is, and the time here is 10:20 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Okay, folks, as usual, plenty to go through. Let's get into it. Here's my sponsor, Totally Rawsome, who make golden activated turmeric paste and other items. As I've told you before, folks, if you have knee inflammation, joint inflammation, or you just want to feel generally better, take this stuff. It does work. It works immensely well. It helped me right up until the point when I broke my knee, my cartilage, etc. So, look, I swear by the stuff. That's where you can find them on the left, and that's their contact details, and you can, they'll email list, and they'll send worldwide, folks. info@totallyrawsome.com.au, and I know every single person that's got some swears by it. Okay, so why am I doing a video today? Okay, there's a couple of reasons. One, I just watched a video by a Canadian prepper. And as I've been saying, and as he's been saying, and as everybody's been saying, things are getting out of control, like really badly. Like, you know, it's just ridiculous what's going on. It's that simple. And the second reason is just because I want to put something to bed for the Australians watching this show. And what I mean by that is I had a couple of comments lately of, oh, you know, why don't you concentrate on Australia? Well, as an Australian, yeah, probably. But to be brutally honest, to use the old saying, if America sneezes, Australia catches a cold. And if America catches a cold, we get double pneumonia. So look, how can I be blunt about this? There's no point literally going on about Australia financially. I'm going to show you in a second what our debt is so you understand. But our dollar is actually fiscally tied to the US dollar. It has been since day dot. That's not going to change. You know, it just can't. So we're in shit creek, always have been. That's not going to change. The Yanks know it. We know it. And as for politically here in Australia, look, it's not. Excuse me. There's not a lot that is going to change here in Australia unless we have what's called something starting with an R. And for that to happen, things need to fall apart pretty badly in Australia to put a rocket up everybody's ass. Is everyone pissed off about the way things are going? Absolutely. But there's a big difference between being pissed off and using the R word. What that is, I don't know. But the way this is going to be incredibly bad. Never ceases to amaze me. Every time I do this, no one ever rings me, and every time I do this, someone wants to ring me. Anyway, look, getting back to the point. There's two things in Australia that are massively important to the Yanks. And that is Pine Gap and Lone Pine. That's it. The rest of the country they couldn't give a shit about. That's pretty obvious. They don't, you know, the only reason they like Australia is because positionally, we're the only country in the world, apart from probably Antarctica, which they've probably got bases there listening to people as well. That's the whole purpose of those bases, is just to listen to people. They don't give a shit about Australia. They never have. You know, it's pretty sad, really, how people think the Yanks do. They don't. Obviously don't. If there's a war, well, here's a classic case in point. In the Second World War, when we had our troops flying to Africa, Europe, everywhere, MacArthur drew a line through Australia, which was Brisbane, and said, well, when the Japs get there, then we'll send some troops. This is the truth. That's not a fact. That's a fact. That's not fiction. Oh, when they get to Brisbane, then we'll send troops. And of course, our Prime Minister went, yeah, good one, mate. No, that's not going to happen. So that's why our troops went to New Guinea, to stop the Japs, because they were going to go to Brisbane. It was unacceptable to us. And there was a big hullabaloo about it, because, they were like, oh my God, you can't take the troops out of Africa. Well, tough shit, mate. That hasn't changed. Yeah, there's some troops in Darwin, whatever. But look, my point here is there's not a hell of a lot going on in Australia that's going to change. Because, yes, we need to concentrate. We're Australians. We need to concentrate on Australia. But our political system is so corrupt and so bad, you're not going to ever change it, ever. This two-party thing we've got going like the Yanks is just a farce. And if you're voting for it, if you're watching this station, this channel, or any other thing like this, and you're still marching down the street, going to the poll station and voting, you are an absolute idiot. Sorry, but to tell you that's the truth. If you're voting for these clowns who might have all the best intentions when they start, but once they get in there, they all get corrupted. They all get told how they're going to vote. They all get told what they're going to do. It's a farce. And yeah, sure, you've got to have some cohesion for the country's good. I understand that. Because not everything can be, it's all about, them or us. Sometimes people have to have a bit of swill to swallow. So I understand that. But what we have at the moment is an absolute farce, and you ain't going to change it. Look what's going on in America. It's so corrupt, it's just laughable. It's so laughable that I don't even bother with it anymore. I don't watch it. I don't take any notice of it. The same here in Australia. I don't care, because I'm going to do what I have to do. Later on, if we do have the R, then I'm your man. And I will take it to the nth degree, because that has to happen one day eventually, whether I'm young enough, old enough, whatever, to see that through, I don't know, but my kids will. Same thing's going to happen in America. There's no way you can change it now unless you have a big R. And I'm guessing you all know what that means. Look at America. So to those people who here in Australia who think that there's political gain here in Australia for our interest rates, sorry, not political gain, but for me to sit here and ramble on about Australia. It doesn't matter. You're not going to change it at all. That's why I do these videos, to show you. I'm going to show you in a minute the reason why you're not going to change it. And very soon they're going to say, we've just sent 1,000 troops. Did you know we sent 1,000 troops to Ukraine? There's 1,000 of our troops in Ukraine. So very soon, we're going to be dragged into this bullshit just like everybody else. It's not going to stop. They're going to have a war. They have to have a war to stop Russia, because Russia's got all the resources. They want the resources. It's got nothing to do with Vladimir Putin, who's a bad guy apparently, and this guy's a bad guy. You know, it's like all these governments telling people that they can't have certain drugs, when the very same people who tell you all this stuff and make laws to do this stuff are all massive sea heads. And I don't drink alcohol, and these guys scoff straight scotch, smoke cigars, are fat fools, but they'll tell you that you can't do shit. Once again, I don't listen to them. I never have. Not since ever since I was a kid. I grew up like that. I don't listen to them. During COVID, I never wore a mask. I went wherever I wanted. I never listened to them. You know, I can tell you a funny story about it, but you know, basically I got pulled up once by the cops, and I just told them to F off. That's a straight up fact. I just said, guys, this is my country, it's my state, F off. And I just drove off. What are they going to do? I went to the shops, people were looking at me, I was like, fuck off. You know, the same people who were looking at me with masks on had 5 injections. Apparently to stop it, but they all got it. It's crazy shit, folks. We're living in bizarro land. Right, I hope I got my point across about that. You need to understand that whatever happens in America is going to be worse here, because we are used as a whipping boy for the states to do whatever. It's that simple. You know, that's why our interest rates haven't dropped, because here's another thing that people just don't seem to understand. We get our money from America, from the open markets, the American market. They're not going to drop our interest rates. The RBA, who's a corrupt organisation as big as anybody, is not going to drop the interest rates until the RBA in America, or the Federal Reserve, whatever it's called, drops their interest rates. And that didn't happen last time, so ours didn't drop, because we're lending our money from them. It's as simple as that. Don't you get it? It's just plain simple. People don't understand this shit. Righto, let's move on. Right, I don't know what this thing is here. My guess is that it's to stop us looking and adding up the numbers. I've tried to get rid of it. I got rid of it for a while, and then it just keeps coming back. And this is the government website, by the way, .org. This is the official US debt clock, .org. So I can't get rid of this, because I'm guessing they just don't want people to add everything up. But see, it's made easy for you, right? So all of you people out there who are wondering what the hell's going on, see this thing over here? US, on the left-hand side, state debt clocks, world debt clocks, time machine, blah, blah. US national debt. National debt. Okay. That's the base debt. Now, I've looked at this thing 1,000 times, so I'm pretty au fait with it. Look down the bottom here. Follow my cursor. Down, 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 down. Total. Remember I said to you guys that it was over 100 trillion. US total debt, unfunded debt interest, 105 trillion, 169 billion, 340, and it just keeps going. So you remember I said to you guys it's over 100 trillion in debt? That's their total debt. Let that sink in. Now, if you go through that chart, or this thing, and you look at all these different figures and facts and everything else, these green ones, they nowhere near add up to the red ones, folks. That's pretty basic mathematics. And if you're any good at maths, just look at it. The figure, like, that's their website. The reason they stuck that thing on there is so people can't read it. It's that bad. So, for all you Australians, this is our Australian debt. This is all of our debt, all of our unfunded debt, unfunded, funded, whatever you want to call it. Total Australian debt, 10 trillion. Total government debt, 2.1. Total household debt, 3 trillion. Total private credit, 6 trillion. We're only a country of 20, what are we now? 24, 25 million in a country the size of the US, a little bit smaller than Canada. Canada, by the way, has got the same population as us, 30 million. But folks, if you do a pie chart and you actually divided it up into people who pay tax and people who don't pay tax, you would be shocked. So, we haven't got 24 million people paying tax. We have, you'd be lucky to have a quarter of that amount paying tax. Full tax, by the way, your 35%. Let that sit in. So we haven't got 24 million people. Take the kids out of it, the old people, they're paying a little bit of tax. They don't pay full tax. If you actually sat down and did the pie chart, you would be absolutely shocked. It's about, I think it's under a quarter. A quarter of the population pays full tax. And all the Amazons and all that, those companies, they don't pay anything. Not here. I don't know where they pay tax. I don't know if they pay tax at all. But they sure as shit don't give it to Australia. How bizarre. And this is my point. So let's go back to this. When you get friendly with this thing, you start to realise just how bad this is. It's fucking bad. Excuse my French. We're the same in Australia. Like, you've only got to question your own household budget. You can only buy stuff if you can afford it. So how are these clowns buying, building massive road project, rail projects, blah, blah, blah? Because we're borrowing into the future. So your kids are getting stuck with this debt. I'll be long gone. I won't give a shit. But my kids are going to be paying for this criminality. That's what it is. And it's no different to the States. Everything that's happening here has already happened in the States. And, the difference between China, India, and America is just phenomenal. They're building for the future. We haven't even built fast rail lines, nothing. Why? Because we're only a country of 24 million. And we can't afford it. We can't afford 2 trillion. That's a government debt. You round that all up, it's about 11 trillion, wasn't it? Unfunded debt. We're broke. We're flat broke. You can't pay 2 trillion bucks back. It's just impossible for 24 million people. And if you look on the American one, I think it's behind here somewhere. It gives you an idea of how much it is per person to pay the debt back. It's yeah, it's behind here somewhere that they've actually covered it all up. This I don't know what this thing is. Here you go. Let's do a little exercise here. Let's go to I don't know. I don't know who these are. The debt per citizen is 7,901 in South Carolina per citizen. That includes kids. So look, you get my point about all this. We've got double pneumonia and we don't even know we have double pneumonia. America's got a bad cold, really bad, and we've got double pneumonia. And we're spending like drunken sailors because we think that's the best thing to do to get out of this situation, which is what they did in America for 30 years. We'll just keep spending. We'll just keep raising the debt. And what's this Trump bloke done when he's got in? Did exactly the same thing. Put another 5 trillion in the books. It should have been going the opposite way and taking 5 trillion off the books. But as I said to you last time, and as people like Dave Morgan, Bill Holter, you know, all these experts, which I'm not, I'm just a pleb from the street, have all told you that if they actually do that, we're going to have the mother of all crashes. The mother of all crashes. It'll make the depression in 29 or 30 or whatever it was look like a cakewalk. It'll be that bad. Why? Because everyone's got addicted to the money. It's as simple as that. And that includes me, you, everyone. Why? Because we think we can just have whatever we want whenever we want it. Same in America. I want that dress. Put it on PayPal. Or what do you call it? Is it PayPal? Yeah, one of those things. You know, all this crap. My kids are the same. They're all the same. They just think they can have whatever they want. When I was a kid, if I wanted a T-shirt or whatever, I had to save up to buy it. My weekly wage was $32 when I was a first-year apprentice. $29 in my first year, 33 in my second-year apprenticeship. Think about that. That was in 1982, 81, 82. 1980, yeah. What is it now? First-year apprentices is on like 100,000. We're screwed, folks. We're screwed. Yeah, look, basically my point out of all this is that unless you've got rocks in your head, start going out, look after yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, and your family. Get your bug out bags, get your food, get your water. You know, and please don't be under the presumption in Australia thinking that the Yanks are going to come and save our ass because, hey, listen, when China takes Taiwan, which they're going to do, Taiwan's gone, right? When they take Taiwan and the Yanks have a ding-dang with them or whatever they're going to do, the next place they're coming, the Chinese, is here to Australia because they want everything we have. Everything. Farmland, space, resources, everything. So we're in a no-win situation. And don't think the Yanks are going to come here, holus bolus, and help us out, because they ain't. Because we're here and they're up there. And they'll probably be fighting with whoever. Remember that Brisbane line. Yeah, when they get to Sydney, then we'll come. And I've said this to you before. Don't think the Australian troops are going to help us either. They might a little bit. You could put 5,000 troops, Chinese troops in Port Hedland, for example, in Western Australia. You would never get our troops near them. Why? Because it's so far away. The Chinese know that. Everybody knows it. It's not a mystery. How many troops do we have? I think it's like 60,000. Probably not even that many in Australia. And same thing, Port Hedland's up here. All our bases are on. There's one SAS base in WA, one base in. I think there's a small base in South Australia, one in Victoria. The rest are on the east coast. So you got to get them from there to there. That would take us in Australia a month. And by then you're dug in and they ain't going anywhere. And there's not 5,000 there anymore. There's 100,000 in a month. Do you see my point? All right. I hope that demystifies the Australian, why I don't concentrate too much on Australia. If there's something urgent, yeah, but listen, guys, everything's dictated by the states and these European nut jobs, backed up by our Australian nut jobs. They're all nut jobs. They're all, look, I don't know what to tell you. They're all psychos. These people are psychotic. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about our families, our kids, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And they are going to push us into a world war. And the first thing Australia is going to do is send troops, more troops, from our shores to their shores. And if we're stupid enough to let them, what do you do? All right, folks. As usual, we'll finish off with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. Right, on my next video, I'll change tact a bit. It might not be for a week or two, probably 2 weeks from now. Who knows? I'll see how I go. I've got a few things that I want to get sorted out, so I'm going to concentrate on that. All right, folks, it's been a pleasure. God bless. Prep out.